So, in the 1960s, in the United States, there was a huge problem, especially in the South, with prejudice, discrimination. Maybe you've seen movies about this, where whites and blacks or other minorities were segregated. And of course, that's not a good feeling if you are a minority. It's maybe not even a good feeling if you are in the majority. So some people started organizing against this, and one of the leaders of this movement was Martin Luther King Jr., who wrote this letter. And this letter is one of the most important pieces of writing from that period, and it has influenced and continues to influence the United States today. So this is an important document to look at, even just for the sake of American culture. It's also important for our writing class, because I don't want to say that everything we look at always follows these patterns, or all good writing follows these patterns. That is not true, okay? This is a good way of writing, but it is not the only good way of writing. Nonetheless, for Martin Luther King's letter, which is much longer than Einstein's, he begins with the same pattern that we have looked at. He begins with value, and he deepens the value in 3 ways. So in Einstein's letter, this was 1 sentence. In Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter, this is 4 paragraphs. Because he has a lot of work to do. These people disagree with him about a big social issue. He can't just say you're wrong. He needs to really think about what they care about. He has to think about his readers and help them value his point of view. How does he do that? He begins in the first paragraph by saying something like, I think you are motivated from the good. Okay, you're not just criticizing me because you're against what we care about. You're good people, and because you are good, I will take the time to write to you. And if you are good, he doesn't say this, but if you're good, you'll understand why I'm here, right? So the first paragraph after this, so the second paragraph, is about Martin Luther King Jr.'s involvement with the organizations there in Alabama. And importantly, he says he was invited there. I grew up in Alabama, and part of Southern culture is your manners. You say thank you, you say yes sir, you say yes ma'am, even to your parents. The ideal Southern man, especially, and Southern woman, a man is a gentleman, a woman is a lady. You must have good manners. It's like the pivotal cultural value. If you invite me to your party, to your dinner, of course I must go, because you have honored me with that invitation. So what Martin Luther King Jr. is establishing in this paragraph, which follows this structure, what he establishes is that he also has good manners. Just like the reader. He was invited. And the reader says, oh, he was invited? Well, of course he must go. Anyone who has good manners, like us, who's from this part of the world, must go if they are invited. So now they understand, okay, he's got good manners like us. That's why he's here. Also, Martin Luther King knows that these are clergymen, people of the church. People of the church establish their entire worldview, their entire view of the universe and eternity on the Bible. This class right now is not a Christian class, but Martin Luther King Jr. is writing to other Christians. And he is thinking about what they care about. This is their religion, and he uses specific examples from their religion. This is part of their lives. They care about this. They cannot push this away. So he's using what they care about to establish, again, the value of his being there with them in that part of the world. And then finally, going from culture to religion, he begins the rhetoric of humanity, where he uses metaphor and parallelism to hopefully bring insight into the human condition and how that relates to why he is there.